Hi, my name is Jasmine Guzman, and this is me presenting my final project. So, what I decided to do for my final project was to do my own 10-point program. I've attached a file of the PowerPoint in case I wasn't able to put the audio onto the PowerPoint itself. So, I'm here recording myself, kind of looking through my PowerPoint. I've attached it if you want to follow along with me. I am on the first slide. So, on my first slide, you're going to see Poderosas Party. This is a 10-point program. And then I'm going to go ahead and get started. So on the first slide I have right here, it's called the Poderosas Party. So the Poderosas Party was founded on August 24th, the same day we started class, on 2020 by Jasmine Guzman, myself, in Fullerton, California. The Poderosas Party is a political organization that stands for the rights of Latinx women and the Latinx women being held in ICE detention centers. The Poderosas Party for Freedom and Equal Rights 10-point program is a manifesto that is forming a foundation for creating an equal society. These guidelines were inspired by the BPP, which is the Black Panther program, and the Brown Berets. These guidelines are to address the conditions of the Latinx women being treated equally and just. On my third slide, this is kind of like a really cute picture that I found. It's called La Poderosa no dice hace, and this is kind of a quote that La Poderosa is kind of representing for themselves. So the translation for that is La Poderosa no dice hace is the powerful woman, which is us, doesn't say but do. On to my next slide. So the first point of our 10-point program is we want self-determination for all Latinx women. So the women in women, this is our country too. So this is me speaking to everyone. So women, this is our country too. We should not sit under the wing of a man. This country was also built from the sweat and tears of many powerful women. Look back at the powerful women who have strived for us. The Chicana's role in El Movimiento was to give women like us a platform, to be seen and heard. The rights that we know now are because of the women like us who are standing up to make a change. We are strong, great, and above all, poderosa. So I really wanted to incorporate the Chicana's role in El Movimiento because it was such a big part for Latinx women. So I felt that including that in this slide really kind of gave it that little oomph, also connecting it to the class as well. And it was just such a big part in our history, and I felt it was really good to connect it in that slide. Our second point is we want equality for all Latinx women. We demand equal education and opportunity to climb up the social and economic ladder. We demand equal job opportunities as men and other racial groups. We do not plan to fight against men, but along with them for social and economic equality. Our third point is we want to break the stereotypes that are set on Latinx women. Machismo is heavily influenced on Latino culture and can still be seen today. The Chicana stereotype is a great example of the roles that are inflicted on Latinx women. The Chicana woman is expected to clean and cook and please her man while still being pure. It is time for us to create our own voice. We are not the same women of the past. We are creating our own future and living life as we please. The end is desired by Chicanas is the restoration of control over a way of life, a culture, and existence. I picked this quote from the Chicanas en el Movimiento. I really thought it was super inspirational. It's talking about the Chicanas taking their own way of life and really becoming their own person and living life as they please, as what we want for all Latinx women. We want to break the stereotype. We should not be seen as objects, but as people of our own. Our fourth point is we want history of powerful Latinx women to be taught in our educational systems. There have been many powerful women throughout history who have strived for equality. Women like the female Brown Berets, who in 1969, the Brown Berets established the East LA Free Clinic on Whittier Boulevard. Sanchez, who partnered with the health group to find professionals willing to volunteer and serve the community. Taz Arellanes, sorry if I said it wrong, with running the clinic. So this is a moment that should be represented in our textbooks. Women who felt that their needs were not being met and taking charge of their own destiny. I felt that this quote was really powerful because the females kind of put themselves forward and said, okay, well, if no one else is going to do this for us, we're going to do it for ourselves. We're going to put ourselves forward and we're going to do it. And I felt that it was super powerful and should be really represented in the Poderosas party. My fifth point is we demand proper healthcare for women being detained by ICE. We're demanding proper healthcare for the women who are being detained in the ICE detention centers. These women are often being neglected when it comes to their medical needs. They are only being attended to when officers see it is a life or death situation. This quote from this website that I found, I did some research kind of to back up my point. So instead, detention facilities often ignore medical issues until they rise to the level of emergencies. In addition to the harm caused by inadequate and often negligent provision of health services, the conditions of immigrant detention itself are damaging to the physical and mental health of people in custody. And then much like in Un Plan de Aztlán, we are demanding that the U.S. provide these women with proper healthcare services regardless of their ethnicity, income, and gender. And then this is a quote that I put in. Institutions shall serve our people by providing the service necessary for a full life and their welfare on the basis of reinstitution, not handouts or beggars' crumbs, restitution for past economic slavery, political exploitation, ethnic and cultural psychological destruction, and denial of civil and human rights. So once again, this is really correlating to the healthcare of women and women being detained by ICE. They're not being given the proper healthcare, the proper needs that need to be met for these women. And I felt that that quote really kind of connected with that. For our sixth point is we demand trauma care for the women in ICE detention centers. Due to inadequate health accommodations that are being provided to these women, they are being left with mental health issues. Mental health issues in Latino culture is oftentimes not seen as a serious issue. The women who are being detained are undergoing serious experiences where they are left feeling neglected, hated, and alone. This can take a serious toll on any person. We strive for trauma care for these women. This can include therapy, group sessions, and etc. I decided to include this quote. Women and girls in immigration detention often bring with them histories of trauma and abuse. In particular, many who enter the United States seeking asylum flee domestic violence, sexual abuse, and gender discrimination in their home countries. So I felt that this really connected because people that are being held in these detention centers, we don't know what they're going through, but more likely than not, they're fleeing their country because of situations like these, and then they're coming to the States, being put in these detention centers, and kind of being treated the same as they were in their home country that they were trying to flee in the first place. For number 7, we demand proper education for Latinx women in ICE. Women who are being held in these detention centers are being given little to no education while being detained. These women are in a country where they don't know the language or anything about it. It is only fair that these women are given proper education in these centers, for when they are released, they have some knowledge of the world around them. My 8th point is we demand adequate maternal health for the women detained in ICE. We are demanding adequate maternal health for the expecting mothers who are being detained in these ICE detention centers. There have been numerous cases in which states that women are giving birth prematurely and being completely ignored, causing their children to be born with numerous health conditions. All pregnant women and children, regardless of their immigration status, should have access to adequate health care. And then this is a quote that I put in. The organizations note that although ICE standards to improve access to reproductive health care exist, adherence to the standards across facilities is unknown, and the detention of pregnant women and adolescents puts their health and the health of their pregnancies at risk. Number 9, we demand that our rituals and culture are respected in society. A a lot politically that is going on now, or was going on, was kind of our culture was really being pushed aside and not respected as much as many other cultures. And I felt that this point really needed to be put out there. So Latinos strive for our culture. Our traditions are sacred to us and are things that we pass down for generations. For many years, our culture has been the main focus for disrespect. It is important for us to be treated with respect and that our traditions live on, although we may be on a different land, and that our folk tales such as La Llorona be told for future generations. And then this quote, I added it from the Curandera Conquest, and it's kind of like it kind of correlates to this. It's a ritual. So a curandera is a female Mexican or Chicana healer or medicine woman who makes use of ancient rituals, primarily herbal remedies known as remedios. And my mom, she does remedios all the time. She's not a curandera, but it's something that was passed down from her time in Mexico as well. So it's something that's part of our culture and should be respected. Number 10, we demand freedom for the women being detained. We demand that these women be released from being detained. It is inhumane and unlawful that they are being locked away from society, community, family, and adequate services. This is seen as a form of abuse. They are inflicting damage on the health of women and girls by denying services, medical needs, and creating new trauma. I believe that they should be freed. And then right here is my works cited. This is my works cited. I want to end my presentation by thanking you. I really much have enjoyed this class, and I really have gained a really big respect for the Chicano culture. As a Chicana myself, I really didn't know a lot about my culture. I knew more of kind of trying to fit into this social norm here in the United States, and didn't really connect back to my roots, and just learning more about the Chicano culture and the come-abouts and the roles that the Chicana women had. Just all of this really inspired me, and I really enjoyed the class. And I really want to thank you, Professor, and thank you for listening in on my presentation.